Free time, sleeping in, hanging out with friends, travel, and just being you. These are some of the things that you miss about the woman you were before you were a mom. You probably feel stuck, sad, unfulfilled, and lost. And you're wondering if it's even possible for you to be any version of that woman again. Honey, it's time to look in the mirror and find that girl. In this video, I am going to share with you how I found my identity after motherhood and how you can regain and refine your identity again, regardless of how long it's been since you saw that girl. I'm going to share with you how to figure out who you are, what you want, and how you can incorporate more of you into your life. My name is Inez, and I went from being unhappy, burned out, and unfulfilled as a mom to feeling more in control, having more time to myself, and rediscovering myself through kid-free vacations. Now, I help moms beat burnout by taking the kid-free vacations they want and need, and I also am the host of The Getaway, a transformational trip for moms who want to keep a getaway on their calendar. If you're looking for a place where you are somebody and not just somebody's mama, come on in the room and hit the subscribe button. In 2019, I had a healthy baby girl. I had a hands-on supportive husband. My parents lived with us, and I was still unfulfilled, unhappy, and had no idea how I was going to be a mom and me at the same time. I felt like my identity was buried under motherhood, and I really had no idea who I was anymore. But girl, I found me again, and I'm here to tell you it's possible for you to do the same thing. Okay. Now, in no way, shape, or form was it a straight line journey. It was more of like an exponential curve. Like every day I was taking small steps to move forward. And then once I started to build momentum, it just went straight up. And I was able to have way more free time, feel way more in control, be way more of myself on a day-to-day basis. Before I go into any of the specifics of what exactly I did, I just want to be clear. This is not going to be a perfect journey. It is simple, but it's not easy. So give yourself grace on this journey to find your way back to you so that you can live more of you inside of your life of mothering and wifehood and all of the different roles that you now own now that you're a mom. We strive for progress over perfection over here, honey. So progress is success, okay? Now that we've got that out of the way, now I want to get into some of the things that I did. The things that I did fall under two categories. One is assess, and the second is align, right? We want to assess because a lot of times we just don't even know who we are anymore, right? There's so many things that come out of you, so many new parts of you that come out of you once you become a mom. And so you don't necessarily even know, what parts of you do you really want to bring into this space that were a part of your old life. So that is why we do the assessing. Then we do the aligning, and the aligning is going to be the implementation. How do we actually walk it out, right? How do we walk out being more of ourselves day to day, week to week, year to year, right? So I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did under the assessment, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did under the alignment. So again, assessing is figuring out who you are, why that even matters, and figuring out how you can successfully be more of you day to day. The first thing that I did to assess was ask myself this question. What do I want more of in my life, right? What do you want more of in your life? If you think about it, and not restricting yourself, not telling yourself that it's bad to want these things because now you are a mom, right? No. What do you want more of? The second question is, what is missing, right? I remember sitting down thinking, what is missing from my life that has me feeling stuck, that has me feeling depressed or sad? And some of the things that were missing from my life early in my motherhood journey were free time, fun, friends, and travel, right? These were all things that all of a sudden disappeared when I became a mom. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Bring them on back. Okay. So the other biggest thing that was missing was my personal fulfillment, like doing the things, like setting goals and moving toward those goals. And these are goals that weren't tied to my marriage and weren't tied to my motherhood and weren't tied to our household, but were just tied to things that were important to me. That was also missing. So once I had an understanding of these are the things that are missing, these are the things that I once had that I want to come back, right? That I want to bring back into my motherhood journey in my life now as a mother. Then I did a values assessment. The reason why you do a values assessment is because you're trying to determine what is important to you as an individual. Once you know what is important to you as an individual, you will know why the fact that these things that are missing even matter. A lot of times the things that are missing are tied to your values. So they matter because you're missing a value when you're not doing them. So some of the values that I came up with when I did my values assessment was adventure, right? Adventure is very important to me. Freedom was very important to me. Personal fulfillment, personal growth, self-realization, which means becoming the person that I believe I am in life. These are things that are very important to me. So that's why free time and time with my friends and doing my goals, that's why those things missing made me feel that way, is because those things tie directly to things that are very valuable and important to me as a woman, as an individual. If you want to figure out what your values are, there's a link in the description that you can use to do a values assessment. It will walk you through your values. You'll have to rate them. And then whichever ones are 9s and 10s, those are going to be the ones that are key for you to make sure that you're implementing more of the things that allow you to align with those values in your life. So make sure you go to my description, click on the link so you can do your values assessment. The biggest thing about the values assessment is you're trying to figure out what value is being threatened when I'm not doing this thing. So for instance, for me, if I'm not traveling the world, I'm a huge traveler. I've been to 25 countries. I take people to countries. I take myself. I go with my family. I go by myself. If I'm not traveling, what value is being threatened by me not traveling? Freedom, adventure, right? So then you're very clear on why this thing even matters. The next thing I did was a personal success formula. It's going to be the environments, the people, the systems, and the habits and activities that make you most successful. These are the things that you need to stand up in your life so that as you're on this journey, you are able to have high energy. You're able to feel fueled. Your cup stays full. When you can stand on these things in order to be able to move forward in getting back to your identity. So for instance, what you need to do is come up with things that fall under each of those categories. So I said environment, people, systems, and activities, right? So for instance, environment. For me, it's very important in my environment that it's bright, right? I love the sun. I love the beach. It's very important when I'm working that it's bright. Another thing about my environment is I need to have some music going. It needs to be some energetic music, some Beyonce, some soca, some Marshall. Something got to be going in the background for me to be successful in getting the things I need to get done and the things I want to get done. I also need collaboration. So I'm always co-working with my friends when I'm getting stuff done so that I can be able to do the things that are important to me and they can hold me accountable to doing the things that are important to me. If you're around here often, you know I go live every Monday with my accountability call. That is why, because that is a part of my personal success formula. Another thing is systems, right? So when you're thinking about systems in your personal success formula, what are the systems you have to stand up that are going to allow you to have more energy, that are going to keep you successful? For me, it's housekeeping, right? Cleaning a house drains me. If I have housekeeping, I can use that energy for something else. I can use it for my children. I can use it for my business. I can use it for my husband, whatever it is, right? So you need to know what are the things for you. Another system for me is what will make me happy, right? So if you go over to my Instagram, to my stories, you'll see every day I write down 3 things that will make me happy today. And I try to do at least one. And the reason why I do that is because in learning what makes me happy, I'm learning who I am, right? These are the things that are part of who I am. They align with my values. It could be small, it could be big, it could be something that takes an hour to do. It could be something that takes 5 minutes to do. But I try to do one thing every day that's going to make me happy because it reconnects me with myself. It helps me prioritize myself and it helps me learn, like, based on who I am, these are the things that make me happy, right? So go on over there, follow me on Instagram if you want to learn more about how to implement what will make you happy every day. All right, so those are some of the things that I did to assess. Right? Assess. Who am I? What do I want? And how am I going to be successful how am I going to be successful? What environments, what places, what people do I need to be around? What activities do I need to have? What type of systems I need to put in place in order to be successful on doing the things that I want to do and who I want to be. So then we talk about aligning. Aligning is what do I need to do to move one step closer to me? What do I need to do to move one step closer to me? The strategy for alignment is a couple of things. This is how you're going to move forward and implement. So one of the things that I did was a values wheel. Sometimes people call it the life wheel. I call mine the values wheel, because I want you to take those values that you came up with, right? So mine were freedom, personal fulfillment, self-actualization, self-realization, those type of things. Take those, list them out, and then write on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you on them? Are you a 1? Are you a 5? Are you a 10, right? 1 being like, I don't do this at all. I haven't done this in months, years. I don't even know how I could implement this. And 10 being like, I live this every day. Once you can list that out and see what number you are on, so say for instance, you are a 5 and you're trying to get to 10, what is something you can do that's going to take you from 5 to 6? I'll tell you a little story about how this worked for me. So in the beginning, I was like, I never had any free time, right? I never had free time. I'm always with my daughter. I don't feel like I could leave her. Even though I had all this support, me personally as a mom, I felt guilty about leaving her. I felt like, I needed to be more in control, just all the things. So what I did was I decided, all right, so if I'm at a 2, I'm trying to get to a 3. What's something that will get me to a 3? All right, so what I'm going to do is for 2 hours on Saturday and Sunday, while my daughter is sleeping and taking her nap, I am going to go do something for myself. Whether I'm going to link up with a friend, whether I'm just going to read, whatever it is, I got to do something with my free time. I have to use this time as free time. So I'm not going to use this time to clean up after her. I'm not going to use this time to prepare for when she gets up. I'm just going to use this as my free time. So that started working. And then I was like, okay, so now I'm at a 3. Or how do I get from 3 to 4? The way I get from 3 to 4 is I need a whole day off, right? 3 to 4 is a whole day off. So what I can do is figure out a way that in my schedule, I'm able to have somebody watch her for the whole day as much as possible, right? Like maybe I only have like a few hours with her. So the way I worked out with my husband was one day a week. So we usually be, I think it's Sundays. On Sundays, he would have her in the morning and he would have her in the evening, right? So basically he would have her the whole day, pretty much. So I wouldn't have to wake up early that day. I didn't have to put her to bed that day. Like, if I had to give her a bottle, like if she needed to be fed, he handled that. And I had the whole Sunday basically to do what I needed to do, right? All right, so how do we move from 4 to 5, right? So 4 to 5 was like, all right, I'm trying to leave her for a couple of days and go on a vacation with my husband, right? So I remember when I was pregnant with my second daughter, we left my oldest daughter. We went to Puerto Rico. We went to Mexico as well for a couple of days and left her with my parents, right? Then it's like, all right, so how do I move from 4 to 5 or 5 to 6? I don't even know where I am right now. But then it was like, okay, I want to go by myself. I want to take a solo trip by myself, right? So you see how this is going. That's what you need to do with regard to your values wheel, right? You need to figure out whatever number you're at, what's one thing that you can start doing that's going to move you one step closer. It's going to get you from one step closer to 10, right? Get you from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. That's huge. That's huge. The next thing is, of course, what I was talking about before, do something for yourself every single day that's going to make you happy. Every single day, right? Before you write your to-do list, the things you need to do, write down 3 things that you want to do for you that don't tie to anybody else, that literally are going to make you happy, right? That day. And it will be different every day. So the things that you put on that list are going to be the top 3 things that are going to make you happy. Are things that are essential for you to do that are going to give you energy in that day, right? Happiness is energy. It's energy. So you need to figure out what are the things you need to do that are going to give you energy in that day. Now, again, your priorities are going to change every day. Nothing's going to be perfect. Some days I don't do my what will make me happy first, but I still get it done. Because at the end of the day, although priorities change, you need to be a priority every single day, okay? And then after I do that, then I have my 5 priorities for the day, because again, personal fulfillment is important for me. So I decide, all right, here are the things that I need to do that's going to get my family closer to their goals and maybe my business closer to where I wanted to be. And so I have 5 of those that I do. And I decide that if I do 3 of them, I am successful and I move on, right? No self-judgment, none of the things. A lot of my self-judgment when I first became a mom came from being used to being able to get so many things done and then trying to force myself to live up to that same standard and just being like, you're not doing it, and judging myself for not being able to get all the things done. Put that judgment to the side. As I tell my friends, take your foot off your own neck. Okay. 5 things. 3 of them, you good. Let's go. Keep going. Allow yourself to feel accomplished and move on. So the next thing that is going to help you to align is plan standing free time, protect it, and fill it with fulfilling activities. Okay. So we talked about how I did my free time, but now I want to talk to you about how you need free time, right? Free time is very important in finding your identity again after motherhood. You have to have it. You have to implement it in your life. Have a conversation with your village. Have a conversation with your parents. Have a conversation with your husband, your partner, whoever it is, and figure out a way that you can implement a standing free time in your life. You know, I talked about earlier, I had like 2 hours on Saturday and Sunday while my daughters were asleep, period. Standing free time, like it's on your calendar and it's on their calendar too, because you know you have childcare available for that time. Alternate shifts, right? If you're married, alternate shifts. Right now I've gotten to the point now where Wednesdays and Thursdays are what I call my weekend, right? They're the days that my husband is with my daughters from the time they go to school all the way to the time they go to bed. If I want to insert myself into the fun, then I can, but I don't have to because it's my day off, right? So figure out how you can alternate shifts with your partner and do that. Either way, determine like, what are the things you want to do during that time, right? Maybe you want to go have some fun and do some outings. Maybe there's projects you want to do. Like some of my friends are way more handy, or will I say domestic and green thumb than me, right? So you maybe want to plant some plants. Maybe you want to decorate something, like whatever it is. Me personally, I want to read. I want to watch YouTube videos about personal fulfillment. Those are some of the things I like to do. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to talk to my friends, journal, just those things. Like, so use that time to do that. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's fine too. Still book standing free time and use that time to think about what it is you might want to do. The next thing is protecting that time. And I'm going to talk to you about how I protected my free time. Because a lot of times we plan it and then somehow, some way it disappears and we are not using it and something else has come up that we have deemed is more important, which let me tell you now, it's not more important. So this is how you protect your free time. The first way is leave the house. I left the house. A lot of times when I had those 2 hours in the weekend, I had scheduled time to meet up with my friend somewhere and I had just left the house, right? Completely. One, it forced me to actually get cute and put some clothes on because, hello, I'm sure the girl who you were before you were a mom was getting cuter daily. Okay. She was getting cuter daily. I'm just saying. And then also it stopped me from sitting around and trying to critique dad on how he was parenting, right? So, or what he was doing, right? So it also removes you from trying to be in control of whoever's watching your kids, and you can't hear your kids, right? Because sometimes you hear the baby crying, you're going to look to see what happened. No, girl, leave the house. The next thing is normalize mom guilt, right? Mom guilt is no longer a problem over here. It's normal. Right? I have videos talking about normalizing mom guilt. You have to normalize it. You are going to feel guilty when you leave. It's okay. Nothing has gone wrong. Okay? Don't allow those guilty feelings to get you to change your mind about going and have you do something different. It's just your survival brain feeling like you have to be there. You do not have to be there. Your kids will be okay. The other thing that I did was I stopped believing that I was the only one who could care for her at the level that I do. There are other people who love her just as much as I do. There are other people who can care for her just as much as I can, right? And so you have to stop believing that in order to be able to protect the free time. Also, one of the ways to protect your free time is to have an accountability partner or a coach, right? Because they're going to be someone who is going to help you honor your word to yourself, right? That's what I do with my clients. I help them honor their word to themselves and help them get to the things that they want to get to for themselves. Click the link in my description. There's a link in the description. If you want to learn more about how I can support you in having more free time consistently in your life and feeling less burned out daily and also taking these getaways. Okay, so the next way that you can align with what we talked about in the assessment, your values, your goals, your identity after motherhood, is to say no more. Prioritize what is missing. Don't prioritize the things that are already there. Priorities changed. I know you have commitments that you've made. Maybe your kids are in such and such activities. Maybe you do certain things for your community on certain days. That's fine. Priorities change. It's okay for them to change. So during this time, you're going to have to say no to new things, and you're going to have to say no to old things that don't align with what's missing, right? Because we're trying to find our identity. Taking care of yourself is new. You're not going to be able to balance it, right? I have a whole video about not trying to balance and focusing on priorities. You have to focus on the priority of what is missing. You're not going to be able to balance. And that means you have to cut some stuff out. Make this a priority. Make you a priority. Make your identity a priority. Make your free time a priority until you build momentum and it becomes easy enough to you where you really don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about some of these things anymore, right? I had to really fight in the beginning. I don't have to think about these things anymore. This is the way you need to prioritize this, to the point where you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just a part of your life. Until then, this is the priority. Your identity is your priority. One of the things moms always want is to, reconnect with themselves. They want to have more free time. They want to have more me time, but they're not willing to focus on making that a priority. They're not willing to make it a reality. So don't be that. Don't be her. Don't be her. Free time is the door to your identity. It's the door. That is how you are going to find your identity after motherhood, is free time. So you have to say no to more things so that you can build in more free time into your life. The next thing you're going to have to do in order to align with the things you set as your values and to refine your identity after motherhood is to stop telling yourself lies. Okay? The first lie that we tell ourselves as mom is that you're being selfish. If you're taking free time, you're being selfish. If you're taking a getaway, you're being selfish. If you're focusing on you, you're being selfish. This is a lie. I want you to go look up the definition of selfish on Google. I want you to read that definition. And I want you to really think, does this describe you? I'm sure it doesn't. That's because it's a lie. Okay? Kids require a lot from you, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. You have to pour out a lot into them. So pouring into you is required. It is not selfish, it's self-care. That is the truth, period. The other lie that we tell ourselves is that you're supposed to give up your identity after motherhood, right? When you become a mom, you're supposed to no longer be you. You're supposed to no longer want to do the things that make you happy. You're supposed to just become mom, and that's it. It's a lie. It's a lie, and it is a program, right? So go watch that video about how you're being programmed and how you can get out of burnout. But it's a program. Mothers who have a life, who have an identity, are modeling a healthy standard for their children. That's what you want to do. That's what I feel like I'm doing, and it makes me feel so much more full inside. So those are the things that I did in order to be able to find my identity again after motherhood. I want you to implement these things. I want to know what worked for you. Okay. Put it in the comments. What worked for you? What is the one thing that you're going to try? Right? What is the one thing you're going to try? And what worked for you? Finding my identity after motherhood has really helped me to feel so much more connected to myself. I feel so much more on purpose. I feel so much more in alignment with my passions. I feel so much more in control of my time and in control of my life, in control of myself. I feel so much more fulfilled. Like the list just goes on. The list just goes on. I cannot recommend this more than anything. Listen. Make sure you do the things, because I feel like I'm able to show up in a different way with a different energy for my daughters. I have way less mom guilt because I know that the things that I'm doing are in alignment with my values. And that's why it matters that I do them. That's why it matters that I do them, right? It's just not random things that I'm doing because I feel like it. It matters to who I am as an individual that I do these things, right? It matters to you that you do these things as an individual. That's why you have to do them. I still have 2 businesses. I still have 2 children. I'm still married and all the things. However, I constantly reassess this and I constantly realign with my values in order to make sure I'm continuously maintaining a strong sense of self in my life. That's one of my top goals, is to maintain my sense of self, because I know when I don't, that's when I get back to burnt out, lost, unfulfilled, sad, right? I have to maintain that strong sense of identity. And I give to you the gift of that, because you deserve the gift of a strong sense of identity. So I have shared these things in the order that I did them. I suggest, you don't have to, but I suggest you do them in that order, because one builds on top of the other. For those who want to work closer with me to regain your sense of self and master living in your identity daily, make sure you go to the description, you click the link, you book a one-on-one call with me, and I can help you do that. Now I need you to help me by hitting the like button and sharing this video with a mama who you know has lost her identity and who you know wants to find it again. Also, share it with a mama who wants to be in a community of moms who are going to support her in figuring it out and getting to what she wants. Okay? Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.